This proposed trade idea is absolutely wild, and frankly, it feels like the kind of trade proposal that sounds good on paper, but makes zero sense when you break down the actual value exchange. Jauan Jennings and a 2026 sixth-round pick for Tyreek Hill? That's not even close to fair value for one of the most explosive receivers in the NFL. Hill just posted back-to-back 700-plus yard seasons in 2022 and 2023. And even in a down 2024, he still managed 1,130 yards and 6 touchdowns. You don't trade that level of production for a role player and a late-round pick. The fit with San Francisco is intriguing, though. Kyle Shanahan has always been brilliant at maximizing offensive weapons, and putting Hill in that system with Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk could create matchup nightmares that are almost impossible to defend. Shanahan's ability to scheme players open in creative ways would be perfect for Hill's skill set. But here's the reality. If the 49ers really want a Hill, they need to offer something substantial. We're talking about a player who's still producing at an elite level and has proven chemistry with his current quarterback. Miami would need at least a first-round pick plus additional compensation to even consider moving Hill, especially to a team that could potentially be competing with them for playoff positioning. The timing aspect is interesting. With Deebo Samuel gone and uncertainty around Ayuk's recovery from his knee injury, San Francisco does have a clear need for explosive offensive weapons. Adding Hill would immediately make them one of the most dangerous offenses in the league, and could be exactly what pushes them over the edge in their championship window with Brock Purdy. From Miami's perspective, the financial considerations are real. Hill's contract becomes increasingly expensive, and if they're not confident they can compete at the highest level, moving him could make sense from a long-term roster construction standpoint. But trading him for pennies on the dollar to a potential playoff rival doesn't align with their competitive timeline. The suggestion that Jalen Waddle could step into Hill's role as a primary target is optimistic, but probably unrealistic. Waddle is a very good receiver, but Hill brings a unique combination of speed, route-running ability, and big play potential that's virtually impossible to replace. The Dolphins' entire offensive system has been built around the Hill-Tua connection, and dismantling that would require significant scheme adjustments. What's most telling about this speculation is how it reflects the broader uncertainty around Hill's long-term future in Miami. The relationship tension from last season, combined with the financial realities of his contract, create natural trade speculation even when the team publicly states they're not interested in moving him. If San Francisco was serious about acquiring Hill, they'd need to offer something closer to what Miami gave up to get him originally, first and second round picks. The 49ers have the draft capital and young talent to make a competitive offer, but Jennings and a sixth rounder isn't even in the ballpark. The real question is whether Miami's stance on keeping Hill is negotiable if the right offer comes along. Chris Greer has said he'd consider 2 first-round picks, which suggests there's a price point where they'd be willing to deal. But any realistic trade would need to reflect Hill's actual value as one of the most productive receivers in the league. This feels more like wishful thinking from a 49ers perspective than a realistic trade scenario. Hill would absolutely thrive in Shanahan's system, but getting him there would require San Francisco to make a much more substantial offer than what's being proposed here. Such a move would likely mean parting with multiple high-value draft assets and possibly a key player from their current roster, a gamble that could disrupt the team's balance. While the idea of pairing Hill's speed and playmaking ability with the 49ers' offensive weapons is tantalizing, the financial and roster implications make it a long shot. Unless the Dolphins are actively looking to reset their cap space or retool their offense, Hill's departure remains far more speculative fantasy than imminent reality.